with the call of the Florida Derby.
There, in the gate. Forte tosses his head around, settles in. And they're off in the Curlin Florida Derby. It was an excellent beginning for Forte. He'll be able to duck over some from his outside draw. Meanwhile, West Coast Cowboy firing through at the inside to take the early lead. Fort Bragg got over quickly, and he's on to take over now. Fort Bragg from the 10 post to the rail and on top a length and a half. Mr. Peaks is now second with West Coast Cowboy in third. Young Frau between horses. Mr. Ripple is next. Cyclone Mischief is stacked 4 wide, 5 wide, WNL. And that's a length and a half to Il Maricolo. Irad Ortiz Jr. and Forte. They're toward the back of the field while 3 wide. Shaq Diesel is next, then Nautical Star. And Mage is last of all as they complete the opening quarter in 23-2. Down the backstretch they go. Jockey Joel Rosario and Fort Bragg on top by 2.5. Mr. Peaks is second. Mr. Ripple is third. West Coast Cowboy is down toward the inside. Working out in the center is Cyclone Mischief. Then it's Young Frau, Forte. Starting to get a bit closer now. He's about 6 lengths off the speed through a 46 3/2 mile. Strong fractions being put up by Fort Bragg. He heads into the far turn on top by 2. Mr. Peaks is second. Mr. Ripple is third. Up on the outside, it's Forte. He's starting to get to work now. He's about 8 lengths off this loose leader with 5/16 remaining. Fort Bragg tries to sneak away. He has the lead by 2.5. Mr. Ripple, he's now second. Cyclone Mischief moves up on the outside third. Forte's locked in as Mage begins to roll from the back. They race past the quarter-mile pole in the Florida Derby, and Mage got the jump on Forte as he goes to get Fort Bragg. Cyclone Mischief is fighting hard. He's still right there. Less than a quarter of a mile to come, and Cyclone Mischief, he's up for a fight and tries to turn away Mage. Forte better hurry up. Final 16th of a mile. Forte starts to gather in the top horses. Here comes Forte. This is going to be very close, but the champion prevails. Forte wins over Mage was second. Third, Cyclone Mischief. Then Mr. Ripple, Fort Bragg for the high 5. He gave you a scare, but he got it done. On to Louisville for Forte.
Well, it goes without saying at this point, his Forte is winning, and he's done it again.
Well, those people that had him at 1-9 weren't too confident at the top of the stretch. Really good effort. I thought the trip into the first turn was okay. He was only 3 wide. Made his way up a little bit down the backside, but he looked empty. Mage ran right by Forte in the middle of the far turn and opened up a couple of lengths. But Forte, to his credit, Randy, he re-rallied, angled out in the clear, and finally wore him down. Portends very well for an extra eighth of a mile in the Kentucky Derby.
It does. You know, Irad Ortiz has talked about how this horse has sort of a newfound maturity, and he seems to understand what it's all about. I wouldn't have given you $1 for his chances going into the second turn. I mean, he was being ridden. He was going nowhere. Mage rolls by him. He has to swing extremely wide. Even here, you can't really say conclusively that he's going to run down Mage. But Forte, he's 2.5 lengths behind right there. But Forte just knows what it's all about. And, you know, Mage runs really well in defeat, and so does Cyclone Mischief to finish again third. But Forte at 1 to 5 odds delivers.
And it's interesting because Luis Saez is the new jockey on Mage. Javier Castellano rode him last time. I think if he times his run a little bit better, he's going to be a horse that is going to be formidable in the Kentucky Derby. He will be a player going 1.25 miles if his run is timed just right.
There's Mike Lupoli. 12 years ago, Ahmed, Mike Lupoli had a 2-year-old champion, a dominant 2-year-old champion named Uncle Mo, who came back as a 3-year-old, early Derby favorite. He won his first start impressively. He was 1 to 10 in the Wood Memorial, sort of like Forte today, except Uncle Mo finished third in that race. The wheels came off. He had to be scratched from the Kentucky Derby. I guarantee you Rapoli was thinking kind of about that in the back of his mind when he sees Forte struggling at one point during the running of this race.